Mark W. Flockhart, and today we're going to talk about the top pieces that you need to start your insurance agency successfully. Now, whether you're a P&C agent like myself or your health and life or whatever the case is, most of this is going to pertain to you directly. So if you're new to the business, there's cost and there's tools that you need to get going. The first thing is you got to pick the name. You got to have the name of the company that you want. We actually have a couple. I run a YouTube channel called Think Insurance, and that's one of the names that I've LLC'd out. So it's Think Insurance Guide. And then the other one for our main agency, the one that's local here in Michigan, is Valor. It's Valor Insurance Group. And that was the name that we went with. We love the name. It shows and speaks to who we are. And we spent about a day or so just trying to figure it out. I know most places will say, just pick it quick. The only thing I would stay away from, and it's not a bad thing, is a lot of companies use their personal name. They'll use Flockhart Insurance or whatever insurance agency, and that's fine. But if you pass it on or you sell it, now you're kind of stuck with that name being passed on to someone else. So there's a little bit of a drawback, I personally think. Let me know what your thoughts are. The next piece that you need is a two-part. It's CRM and AMS. So CRM is Customer Relationship Manager and AMS is Agency Management System. Those are two pieces. So you're going to want to have the CRM to organize your files, organize your data. Some of them have phone systems built into them and email systems built into them, so it can automate some of the steps that you normally wouldn't do. If this is going to be a big career and you're actually going to go after this successfully, you need something to keep as your assistant or your virtual assistant to keep everything in the cloud and working, so that if you have a system breakdown, a computer crashed or whatever the case is, it's not gone. You don't lose the data. You've got some sort of cloud-based system that can back that all up for you. Now the AMS, the Agency Management System, is kind of a two-piece as well, even though we're two-piece and two-piece and two-piece, hopefully it's not too confusing, is that the AMS system is meant for you to organize your customers. And some of the AMS systems, they've done a horrible job on doing them together. So a lot of people say, well, why can't I do an AMS system built with the CRM system? Why can't I have them together? There's a couple of them out there, but they just don't function very well. They usually do good at managing the data versus managing the marketing type part. The AMS system is where all of your clients will go into. It'll show you your book sizes and where you're losing clients, where they're staying, changes on policies. All of the information from the carriers that you work with will download directly into certain AMS system. The next piece is you need an email. You've got to communicate, and having a Gmail is common nowadays, but it's not professional. People don't see a Mark at Yahoo or Mark at Gmail or Mark at whatever hotmail.com as a reputable source. So if you're going to legitimately create your own company, its own LLC, you're going to have an actual plan put together, you really need to have some sort of email to communicate with clients. With the email, it's almost impossible to look professional without a website. Can you do it? Sure. Your next best bet, if you're trying to go as cheap as possible, is to just make a Facebook page. Facebook has been coined as a powerful tool when those that don't have websites. You can send them there, they can do reviews, they can communicate, but you really don't have a lot of control, and especially you can't control where or what people do off of Facebook. So you might have a Facebook page, and if I wanted to market against your Facebook page, I could. You really have to have a website. I actually work with a company called Forge. They are a few $100s a month, but it's already built. You don't have to pay a whole lot of cost up front, or you can build your own. I'll put the link of them below. I don't think they're an affiliate, or they have an affiliate link. If they do, I'm gonna just warn you, I might get some sort of whatever kickback if they have one. If they don't, then it's down there. You need a phone. Don't use your personal phone. Your phone, there's a couple things you really have to know about the phone system. You need a phone that records phone calls. If you're in health and life, I believe that's a new law that just got passed this year, that you have to have everything recorded. They don't want any scamming, shadiness happening. Now, the phone system is kind of a two-piece. You can sure go buy another physical phone or another cell phone, or you can get a virtual phone system. I work with a system that I'll link below that actually has a phone built into it. The things that you need to know when you're looking at these programs is, does the phone get text? Very important. Does the phone get images in text? That's the thing that I've tried several different systems, and a lot of them don't. So be very careful on the phone system you purchase, whether it gets text if you can get images, because a lot of times I need a photo of a house or a photo of the roof or whatever the case is. And if I don't have that, now I've got to go to my personal phone and have them text it, or I have to force them to use email to send it to me in an email format. The next part that is important is you need some way to get signatures from customers. So you need some sort of e-signature program. Pretty much everyone has it. Sometimes they're free with your agent's AMS systems. So if you already have one, like we use EasyLinks on ours, and it has an option to have an automation. And part of that automation includes e-signature program. So we can load a document in and get signatures straight from customers. In the PNC world, you may or may not be in a state that's simple or not. Whether the case is, you need some sort of way to get signatures. Sometimes these big companies fail at getting the signatures correctly. There's just a ton of different ways that you need to get a signature yourself from a client. And instead of you driving over their house or faxing them and emailing them, having them print it and sign it, you just do an e-signature. They're done. It's simple and it's easy. Another major piece that you should do when you're starting off, you've got your name, you've got the LLC, but you need to have E&O insurance as errors and omissions. Just in case you were to say something wrong, you need to protect your company or yourself for that scenario. For example, if I told a customer they had $1 million coverage for whatever reason, but they really only had a $500,000 coverage, it's on me to back up and protect what I've told them. Even though they do get the paperwork, they review it and they e-sign it, a lot of the times the courts will default to that they weren't aware. Or a lot of times they'll say even though they did sign it and it said it's legal and binding and all that, that doesn't stop them from going after you. You need some sort of protection for yourself. Just like you're selling insurance, you can get your own E&O policy. Very important to have for any agency, whether you're just one person or you're multiple people at an agency. That being said, you're going to need some sort of policies to sell, so you're going to have to connect with some carriers, and you're going to have to get carrier appointments for your new insurance agency. There are a couple ways around this because it's a little bit tough to call whoeverinsurance.com or whoever insurance. You got to find who your local person is, connect with them, and you have to have an appointment with them. You're actually doing an interview with these companies. I'll actually make some more specific videos on this. If you are interested, don't forget to subscribe, where I will go over some of those as time goes on. In the meantime, you have to connect with different carriers and get appointed with them. It's not as easy as it sounds because you do have to get approved, and when you're brand new, you really don't have anything to back up. If you don't have a couple $100,000 worth of business with certain companies, they can't look at the book that you have and say, okay, are these guys writing just auto? Are they writing just home? Are they averaging a 1.5 policy count for every household? Are they really doing umbrellas? What type of business are we taking in? I actually have like a 3-part guide that will help when you're trying to get appointments with different carriers, some of the things that they're looking at, and some of the things that I've been coached on what you should focus on, and some numbers that you should use that are important to them. I'll try to create either a PDF file that you guys can download, or I'll just make another video on that soon. All of this is going to help you successfully get your agency off the ground and running. The other part that you got to focus on is marketing. You have to have some sort of a marketing plan in place. Friends and family is a great place to start, but more often than not, that ends fairly quickly. I've seen many agents start off growing with friends and family and reaching out and getting 50, 100, 200 people to allow them to quote them. But after about 90 days, that sort of dies off unless you can grow the word of mouth. If you can find one friend to refer 5 other people, then that's even better. Every one person you talk to, there's 5 other people you can talk to. It's a little bit tougher and more aggressive. If you're that type, then honestly, you're good. You could build in a business off of that. And as you talk to different people, you're likely going to find some of those COIs, as we call them, center of influences. Those are people that know the marketing industry or know the finance industry or work with realty type people. You're eventually going to have a handful of those friends, and you're going to get extra business come in while you're working past that. Tons of agents have been successful just doing their own marketing. Apart from that, we actually focus on a little bit more aggressive because we want to scale a business. In our case, we do leads. We do personal referrals and personal friends, and we focus on working with mortgage brokers and being a resource to them. We also have a social media strategy. So there's a lot of different ways that you can market, but just know you have to have some sort of plan to focus on doing that type of work for your agency. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any questions, put them in the description below or the comments below. I'd love to help where I can. I'm Mark W. Flockhart. I'll see you soon.